Is it the time
Good
it
morning.
goes?
Yeah, it is. Welcome to this is the life that we deal with every single day, Andrew.
Welcome to Second Cup. Our guest, Andrew, who's with us today, is getting a special taste of these chairs that we
Right.
have.
We hate these chairs.
Just looking, I'm just slightly. No, I'm
look
good.
good.
I think it rose.
You know what it is? We're so short, you're so tall, so it evens out in the end.
And we're on a platform up here. Yeah, it's just so funny.
Our friend Andrew is here with us. Andrew Bennett from Oishei Children's Hospital, as we say good morning to you at 8 o'clock on this Monday morning. Tomorrow, actually, it's Wednesday. No, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Tomorrow is the first ever day of giving for Oishei Children's Hospital. And this is a great way for the community to come together, really support one of those great causes, one of the resources that we're so lucky to have here in Western New York. And there's a twist.
Yes, and we love to have a special guest on Second Cup. So, Andrew, we're so happy you're with us. So tell us about the Day of Giving, and then also we got to talk about why it landed on this particular day.
Yeah, for sure. Well, good morning. Thank you for having me. Great to see you guys. So tomorrow is our first ever Day of Giving, and the community. And you guys probably recognize that, a lot of institutions, higher ed, high schools, nonprofits have days of giving where they really try to rally, their constituents and others, and talk about the great work that they're doing. And frankly, we've thought about it. We've been parts of other initiatives throughout the community over the years, but it really just kind of came together around having a great media partner to help us promote and Cumulus, as well as it is number 17's 28th birthday. So
521. Tomorrow is Josh Allen's birthday, and Josh Allen has such a big role to play at Children's Hospital, especially with the Patricia Allen wing, named after his grandmother, and Bill's Mafia, of course, coming through for all of that support. What does this money go to? All of the money that's raised, and how much money do you really want to raise?
Well, we'd like to raise as much as humanly possible. We have set a goal on our website, which is givingday4och.org, of $280,000. And we are off to a very good start with our board of directors and donors and partners, corporate partners and individuals throughout the country. Mm-hmm. And the money goes to a variety of different areas. For tomorrow, what we've kind of categorized as our critical care programs, which includes our joint program for pediatric cancer with Roswell Park, moms and babies. We are one of the few hospitals that remain in the country that have maternity, neonatal intensive care all under one roof. So it's really unique that we have that. Still with Children's being as back to 1892, very old hospital or old institution. Mental behavioral health, which we know is a significant challenge for kids and teens right now. It's just continues to rise, and we need to increase the resources we have to address that. It's very personal to a lot of us. I think you'd be challenged to find anyone that hasn't been touched by that in some way, shape, or form. And then the last one is what we call patient family support services. Those are all of the our Child Life team, our volunteer services team, and the activities and the things that they do to help make our patients comfortable and feel at ease while they're in the building. And none of that we can really bill for or reimburse. So that really all is supported by the community.
It's a great resource.
It sure is. So there's a lot of great places that your money is going. I would love to hear from everybody who joins us. So we call them Cuppies, Andrew, our Cuppies who join us on Second Cup. If anybody's ever had a personal experience at Oishei Children's Hospital, let us know, because I'd love to hear what you've experienced, and then we can talk about where this money's really going to.
Anita says such an amazing cause. Give us that website one more time, Andrew, because I feel like a lot of people would want to know exactly how they can donate. And I'm sure no donation is going to be turned away, however small or however big.
No. givingday4och.org, and that's FOR.
Okay.
Andrew, when you see not only the children, but also the parents who are there, and then you see how they're impacted by this money that goes, and I'm thinking too, even just because I have friends who have such little kids, right, that neonatal and keeping moms there with them, how does that impact these families, and how is that different from what happens other places?
Sure. Being a standalone children's hospital really means that we have all the subspecialty care that the kids and the moms and babies need under one roof. So there really isn't anything you have to leave the building for. And we just actually last year opened a brand new specialty care unit for moms up on our 7th floor for moms that may be of high risk or are going to likely have a higher stay under our care,
Right.
which has been an incredible asset to have for the region.
And probably the last thing you want to do if you have a little baby is ever leave them,
No
you know?
kidding,
So,
Right.
Here's Mary's comment here. Mary, good morning to you. My daughter was at Children's, but the old one over on Hodge. Everything was organized. We spent 3.5 years there for leukemia treatment.
wow.
My mom actually weighing in. Hi, Jan. Good morning. Children's hospitals are such a vital part of a community. Thanks for all you do. She's so kind, and she's really speaking from the heart this morning. My
Peter,
mom.
Thank
this
you.
is a nice comment too. He says he knew someone who passed away a few years ago. There were benefits in his honor, and all the money went to Oshai Children's Hospital.
How else can the community help outside of this day of giving? How else can the community help?
I think, continuing to spread the word like this, those stories mean a lot to us. You could certainly find us at the foundation and share those stories. We'd love to hear, great news,
Success stories.
great outcomes,
Yeah.
things that are really positive, because truthfully, where it really makes the difference is sharing that back with the team that's really doing the work.
Yeah.
The foundation, we're very fortunate. We're actually talking on this about this on the way in, that we're really lucky to do what we do and to support the real heroes, which are working floor to floor with those families and the kids over at the hospital. We're grateful to be able to do things like Giving Day and beyond that can help raise resources to help them do their job the best they can.
Okay, how important has Josh Allen been? Because tomorrow's his birthday. How important has he been to everything you guys are doing there? And maybe just give us a little insight about what does he do
Is
when
he
he
a
comes
cool
to
guy?
No, I mean, that, but also, what is he, but also,
I
bringing
can't
it
wait to
back.
see the comments come in.
Yeah. What does he do when he comes to the hospital?
Sure.
But also, is he a cool guy?
I'll try to keep this succinct. Super cool guy. What you see is what you get, if not better. Very genuine, very kind. I can say just a quick snippet. Patricia Allen, his grandmother, I think had a huge influence on he and his whole family around children and giving back to kids. Obviously, I never had a chance to meet Patricia, but all accounts, or she was very involved with kids' charities and very much giving back. So I think that's certainly translated into how Josh lives every day when it comes to giving back to the community. So we've been really lucky to have this relationship with him since 2019, right after his first year, and it certainly has blossomed into something that no one could have predicted. But it only has blossomed because of the really great care that is happening at Oshai. B, the incredible donors, Bills Mafia, as you mentioned. Shout out to Bills Mafia, of course, and beyond partners he's brought to the table. How he has kind of shifted the mindset of a sponsorship or a partnership, and how that can benefit the hospital.
Yeah.
So, and his team, his agent, has been a huge asset to us. So shout out to T as well.
So you don't have a direct line to Josh. You're going through his agent.
Both. Depends.
Do you want to share his phone number with us?
Do the kids lose their mind when he comes in?
The kids and the staff.
I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what better representative
Yes.
for Oshai Children's Hospital than quarterback number one?
And
QB1.
also, too, when you think about these little kids who probably feel awful, they're
Mhm.
going through a lot. It's been so tough. To make them light up, that just makes us so happy.
I actually, real quick story.
Yeah.
He did visit not too long ago, and there was a teenager who had been there for a bit and really needed a lift,
Pick me up,
a
yeah.
pick me up. And our Child Life team went in and said, "Would you like a visit from a Bill?" And he's like, "Oh, okay, sure." And how about Josh Allen? And very, very colorful response.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like, no way. And it was obviously made this young man's that
Good.
day.
I'm so happy to hear that.
You know what, though? I feel like that spirit, that kind of energy, when a patient can be uplifted, it also lifts the spirits and boosts morale of the staffers as well. And I love what Peter is saying. How about for Josh's birthday, people make a $17 donation to Oshai Children's Hospital? That's a great idea, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
and-
That's how it all started.
Yeah, and why don't you give us the address one more time? John, he's in the back here. John could put a link in the comments here. So give us the address one more time where we can
Sure.
donate.
Giving Day 4, that's FOROCH.org.
Awesome. Lori says Josh is wonderful and he's still our QB1. We're very lucky to have him here.
Oh, this is a nice comment too, that Josh is such a grounded superstar and that we should all take notes from him. Honestly, that's great.
You have a great guy working for you as well, Dr. Steve Turkovich. As
Oh, we love Dr. Steve.
CEO.
He's not bad.
Yeah, he's
not bad.
He's pretty cool, huh?
So I mean, I think Steve, the world of Steve.
Yeah.
Actually, I call him Steve because he is Dr. Turkovich.
Right.
But he talk about grounded.
Yeah, right.
And humble and just focused on, the outcomes and the best for kids and moms and babies. I mean, he's an absolute superstar. And I remember when I first met him, it was like we just clicked. We're like brother from another mother.
Yeah.
Like, dude, we're gonna do great things together because he cares so much about the community, has a significant passion for mental behavioral health and making sure that we are partnering and working collaboratively across the region to address any and all needs for kids. I mean, he's fantastic.
A true role model. Steve's a personal friend of mine, and I adore him.
He's a great guy.
Peter says,
Peter watches him every day, or every week.
when he's on with Michael Wooten.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah.
Voices on Tuesday with Dr. Steve.
Thank you so much for coming in. We
Thank
appreciate
guys.
you.
Appreciate it.
Hey, come on in here. You want to say a quick hello? Somebody who we all know, a familiar face. Come on in.
She's like,
But now working for Kaleida Health.
glad to have you.
Our dear friend Heather Lee.
Right on in.
It's so good.
Very
Oh, we love you, Heather. It's
Love
so
you
good
guys
to
too.
see you.
Thanks so much for having us.
Of course, this is wonderful.
Heather has recently joined the team at the foundations, and we are really, really lucky. That was a good catch for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
It's been very good. So we were talking about some of those stories.
Here, come on in here.
Oh, yes, how soon I forget, right? No, one of my jobs is sharing those patient stories and the stories of the caregivers, the doctors, the nurses, the child life team. So we just encourage everybody to follow along, especially tomorrow on our social media pages, because we're going to be sharing those stories so you can see where your money is going. And I think that people, they want to know. And if you get to see some of these faces, it's really incredible.
Do you love what you're doing?
Love it.
Good.
Absolutely.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very happy.
I mean, you're
So-
making a difference. That's
Yeah.
what's important, right? In the lives of little kids. So
Absolutely.
it's
And this
yeah.
guy, he's not bad to work for. either.
Great guy. Thank you
I'll give
both.
this
We
back to you.
appreciate you.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Good luck to you
Thank you.
tomorrow, and we'll
Appreciate
keep
it.
everyone updated about what goes on during the day as well.
Okay.
We'll
Great.
see you soon.
Very
Thank you
good.
so much.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go
is right.
Bills. Yeah.
All right. I see the comment here coming in from Danielle. Good morning to you, Danielle. Is there any update on the tragic accident in North Tonawanda? Honestly, we have not gotten any updates since yesterday. So
Right.
we're still waiting to get more information about what exactly happened here.
And a lot of people were asking, where are people coming from? Where were they going? What was the, so again, like Ed said, we still don't have names.
Right.
We know ages. We know, of course, those 3 people, including a 6-year-old, tragically were killed in this accident. We don't know where people were coming, where they were going to, none of that information yet. We do know the NTSB is going to be looking into this crash. So it's a lot. So,
Bye, guys. Thank you so
bye.
much
Have
for
a great
coming in.
day.
Good to
Thank
see you. So as we get more information, we'll keep you posted. And obviously, our thoughts are with this family, this community. No one ever wants to see something like this happening, but it's the second time this year that it's happened in this one area.
I think it's, they're going to take a closer look at what happened here, right? How did it happen? What happened? And what do we do? Do we change anything moving forward? Those are always the big questions.
Okay, here's a great question for you. Do you have a credit card that's maxed out?
Drop your
How much
name
money is
and
on your
info in this-
balance?
I'm just kidding.
The reality is a lot of younger people are maxing out their credit cards nowadays because they are just A, not making enough money, and
Right.
B, have a smaller or lower credit limit because they haven't had enough time to really boost their credit scores, their credit limits in the short time that they've had a credit card.
Right. You open up a credit card, like, oh, we'll give you $500 limit. We'll give you $1,000 limit. Maybe you're in college,
Mhm.
A lot of people do it in college, right? And then they start getting into trouble.
Listen to this. The reality of the credit card limit is that there's a direct link between high credit card debt and falling behind on payments. So not only are you also not able to pay nearly as much as what you should be to get that bill down.
Well, I mean, it just all snowballs because the more you put on it, the higher your payments are. That's when you're like, you know what, I'll just make the minimum payment this month. And then, boy, that can really get you into a really tough situation if you're just making the minimum payment because the interest is growing so much.
So Jim's cracking up when I asked who has a maxed out credit card. He goes, who doesn't? And Howard says, thank God I have no credit card debt. Zero balance equals 100% happiness. Lori says, I paid off my credit card. But you know what? It's the younger people who are having the biggest problems nowadays.
Well, yeah, because they're making the least amount of money for the most part, right? Because they're just getting into their careers,
Right.
and everything is really expensive. And like, you know, Ed and I were saying too, again, great, like we had two very different philosophies as we talked about this on the show a little bit earlier, because I'm the person who would save to buy. Although I can totally see that if you needed something now and you didn't have that emergency little like nest egg, you know, set aside, then you're going to have to put it. What are you going to do?
Right.
You can't not drive your car.
James says recent college grads find themselves only having credit cards while figuring out what's next.
Now that's true if you're waiting to find a job.
Well, and I was saying, I've said this before, and I've told you, I mean, I was making in Harrisonburg, Virginia, when I first started out in television, $28,000, $30,000. That was a full-time job.
Yeah, mine was less. So.
And
no, I
it's
know.
because you started a little earlier than I did. So, you know, a lot of the wages perhaps went up in that short time.
No, it just is what it is when you're younger, and you start in the business, and it's, you know, you don't make a lot. Maybe you're making overtime.
Yeah,
that helps.
well, my
right?
point was that I was living off of my credit card, and it was so hard to get ahead. No matter, let alone save, it was hard to get ahead.
Yeah.
But
you know what? It's one of those things where you really start to figure out. Those are one of those days where you're living by necessity, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Like you're not really going out a lot.
No, you're going to get groceries at Walmart. You're trying to figure out how to like pay for gas. I mean, it's insane the things that a lot of us have had to go through, you know, to make it wherever we are.
And also like perspective too, because we were talking about this the other day. Remember we had the lifeguarding story on the other day, and lifeguards are making, what was it, like $20 an hour now? I was a lifeguard. It was my first job, or one of my first jobs, and I made $5.25 an hour. So like I worked 4 hours to make what they make in an hour.
Lori's right. It's a nail-biting world. And then Jeff Baker commenting here, he's starting to get a little political, Jeff Baker. Maybe we can forgive credit card debt when we finish up with the college loans, of course, talking about the White House and the idea of forgiving college debt.
Shirley, I think, is doing it the way that a lot of people would love to do it, and also the way the credit card companies probably hate, right? I have credit cards, take advantage of their rewards programs, and pay my balance every single month. That's the way to do it if you can. We know it's not always possible.
Linda, good morning to you. This is an interesting update here. We had said that you've got to call if you've got a gift card to Red Lobster. We know 4 of them closed here in Western New York. Linda says, I just want to let you know what Red Lobster said when I sent them a message. They said there are still Red Lobsters open. All 4 of them have closed here in Western New York. So there's one in Niagara Falls, Ontario, and one in Meadville, I think, Pennsylvania. So if you need to use your gift cards there, I suppose you could.
You're making a trip across the border, or you're making a trip to Pennsylvania.
You know, Linda, I'm sure that was not the most
helpful
or desired answer, shall we say.
So Linda, they were saying, okay, we can't give you anything back for it because there's still them open. Just clarify that.
And was that, what was your follow-up with them? I mean, were you happy or satisfied with that response? I can't imagine that you would be, but.
Marguerite says the Red Lobster in Greece is still open. Now, Marguerite, are you sure? Because we called, there's one in Henrietta and one in Greece. One was actually Rochester. It might have been this Greece one. I did call the other day and I never got through to anybody. So I called and it just rang. And so then I called the other Red Lobster, and that one, I want to say it was a Henrietta. One of them had another auction or something, like our assignment desk had looked into it, and they were definitely closing. But the other one, I just couldn't get through at all.
Jeff, at least you got our responses right. And again, you know, there's a form that you can fill out on their website, the Red Lobster corporate website. Peter, I'm laughing at your comment. Do they actually have lobsters in the tank there? I've never really actually.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. Anyway, they've got a form that you can fill out on their website where you can contact them. And Tracy, good morning. The one in Canada said you could use them, but will convert to Canadian currency. Okay.
Yeah, Binner is asking about that Red Lobster in Canada. That one is open still, Niagara Falls.
And and then Howard says, I highly doubt Greece is open. I lived there for years. It was not a busy place.
So I was trying to figure it out, but I wasn't going to drive to Greece. So I just called and it just kept ringing.
Well, you need to take a boat there and an airplane.
It's such a Monday.
Anyway, here's another one for you. Summer travel plans. We were talking about how hard it is to make ends meet, but we're also talking about people trying to get the hell out of here. So Memorial Day, they're going to see a 15% rise, AAA says, of people on the road this holiday weekend. But the skies, they're expecting it to be a record-setting year. Are you flying? Are you driving? Are you going anywhere?
Are you summer travelers? I was telling Ed this morning, like, I'm not really a summer traveler. I like to stay here in the summer because I love the summer here.
I do too. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Frankly, it's the winter that I feel like a lot of us are taking trips south or, getting out of Dodge. But, I think a lot of families are also more aware of the time that they have, especially if you've got kids in school.
That's true.
Summer
yeah.
is the easiest time to
you're
get away.
Yeah, and if you got to go visit people or something like that. Wow, Anita, this story sounds familiar.
Yeah.
She's going to be working on Memorial Day. What are you going to be doing, Ed?
I will be, God willing, on the water somewhere, enjoying a cocktail and a barbecue. That is all I want to do.
Must be nice.
Honoring our troops and saying thank you for their sacrifice.
With a drink in the air.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheersing to them.
Love. Bill says, or Jim says, I'm traveling to my front yard for the community parade, then travel to my backyard for Memorial Day birthday cookout. Sounds great.
I love what Lynn's saying. We're camping at Six Flags Darien Lake.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Howard says, no travel for me, enjoying the retirement home I purchased last year. Summer in our area is the best in the country. Right.
Baker, staying home and smoking some meat.
There you go. You can't beat summertime in Buffalo. In fact, when I first moved here, I interviewed, I think it was back in 2011. I interviewed.
What month?
I think it was June or July.
And they were like, it is like this all the time.
Well, do you know what? They
Don't
took
believe
me,
the national news.
They took me to Templeton Landing for
Oh,
lunch.
perfect. Yeah.
And I fell in love with Buffalo then and couldn't wait to come back here and was praying that I got the job here. And this was obviously many, many years ago when I was working at a different station.
That's when we let you in, huh? We let
know.
you into Western New York then.
And that's when I met Katie. She had the Drench repellent ready to go.
I did. I thought that was so funny.
You want to tell everyone that story?
I had you pegged from the minute you came here. I said, this kid's going to be a real pain. No, he was doing all of these investigations at Channel 4, and I was emceeing an event where there was going to be a lot of broadcasters for the Broadcasters Hall of Fame. And so I wanted to incorporate some of the younger people because everybody's going to the Hall of Fame, of course, has had, 20 plus years of their career. So we end up with older crowds. So I wanted some of the younger people there. So I covered the hairspray with construction paper and called it Drench repellent. And I was asking anybody in the audience if they wanted to be sprayed with Drench repellent.
It was pretty funny. I think I still have that at home, to be
That was
honest with
all
you.
those. God, you should see the picture from that day. We were both so skinny
And a whole lot younger.
and so much has transpired since.
Calvin, congratulations to you, Calvin. I am thrilled to hear that you have been cured of
Okay.
herpes.
All right. Okay. And don't laugh at that.
Blocked. Peter, as much as Mondays can be dreadful, you know what makes it better. Ed and Katie. Thank you, Peter.
Tracy says, bloop. Summer in Western New York is amazing. Always a cool event, concert festivals. That's what I think too.
Did we think that we'd be hosting Second Cup 14 years
We
later?
had no idea.
This business has changed so much from the time that we started as reporters in small markets to where we are
Actually,
today.
Heather and I used to work together before I even moved to Buffalo.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
We had jobs at the same station. She was there 1 year before me. And then we actually worked in the same little bureau. There was one person in between us.
It's just a small Buffalo world sometimes.
Also, it's a small Buffalo world, and then it's a small world in any industry you're in, right?
Yeah. People, I'm sure you know that for a fact. And what do we say about Buffalo? It's like the 6 degrees of separation, but in Buffalo it's 3. Isn't it true?
Crazy. Yeah.
Anyway,
Mhm.
we love having you along for the ride. We love that you're part of Second Cup every morning. Tomorrow, don't forget the Day of Giving at Oshai Children's Hospital. Thank you to Andrew Bennett for stopping by and
Yeah.
Heather Lee. We love them.
Giving us some inside Josh Allen. I just love, the idea of especially a teenager in the hospital, that story's great because that's when you just want to be hanging out with your friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
The
what
end
a
of the school
bummer.
year.
And I was so happy to hear that to hear you want a Buffalo Bill to come in, you're like, yeah, sure, that'd be great. And then to be a Josh, he's another level. It's really exciting.
So cool.
It's got to mean so much to them. So
Have a great day, everyone.
bye, guys.